Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Thursday, March 26, 2015. I am Dan Rubin. We will be joined shortly by the lovely and talented Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting from 24/7 Sports, who joins us every Thursday. First thing I want to mention, though, as of right now, in fact, 6 minutes ago, practice was open to the media today at the WAC. Steve Hellwagon and Dave Biddle are there with bells on. The first portion of it's open for video and art and pictures, so we'll get plenty of that, and then they'll get to hang out and watch. This will probably be our most extensive look at the team, and then Luke Fickell, Ed Warner, and a host of linebackers and other defenders will be meeting with the media, so this is offensive linemen as well. So this should be a really cool experience today. We'll have video and eyewitness accounts from Dave and Steve, the other Steve. Now we get to the Steve on the docket for today. As always, Steve Wiltfong, thank you for joining us, my friend.
Good morning, Daniel. Lots to talk about with a huge visit weekend for the Buckeyes on tap, the first big one of the spring.
And what a segue, Steve. You can tell we've been doing this for a while. This is a huge recruiting weekend. Not every weekend gets names like this. Off the top, let's deal with the two headliners, the ones everyone's known about for some time here. Defensive tackle Rashawn Gary out of Paramus Catholic in New Jersey, and Texas quarterback Tristan Wallace. We've heard a lot about them already. Please give us your 2 cents on these two elite prospects visiting this weekend.
Well, no question, Ohio State's a major player for Rashawn Gary. Larry Johnson has been involved on this one for quite some time and has already earned the trust of Rashawn and his mother. Another opportunity for Rashawn to get around the Ohio State culture and see how he fits in there. This recruitment is a long way from over at this point. He plans to take a bunch of visits, go down to SEC country, use his officials, and decide late in the process. But this is another opportunity for Ohio State to continue to build on where they're at with Rashawn, which I believe is one of the top schools right now for him. And then obviously Tristan Wallace would be a home run for Ohio State. He's a top-of-the-board quarterback recruit for any school, would be an outstanding fit for what Ohio State likes to do. He obviously has to look at what the Buckeyes have done at the quarterback position, think about, hey, I could be pretty damn successful in Columbus as well. You know, obviously Ohio State's not around the corner from some of the other schools he's looking at that may be closer to home. So, but if he wasn't serious about Ohio State, he wouldn't be coming up here because he plans to decide soon. And sometimes that late visit can be the visit. So we'll see. There's no question that the Ohio State staff, Urban Meyer and those guys will show him a good time and lay it all out there for him as to why Ohio State's the best fit for him. So it'll be interesting to see what those two think coming out of the weekend.
Steve, I just want your opinion on this. Another quarterback that Ohio State's looking after and is expected to visit, Jared Guarantano out of Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. If you were comparing Tristan Wallace and Jared Guarantano, who do you like better?
Well, I would pick Tristan Wallace if you were asking me which guy I could pick in the playground, and I had a first pick near the slings or whatever. I mean, I know Ohio State would take both of them. So if Jared Guarantano called them today and committed, they'd be very excited. You know, both young men bring a lot to the table, and both young men would be good fits for Ohio State. So we'll see what happens. Guarantano's obviously going to Tennessee this weekend. They seem to have a lot of momentum with him, which kind of goes against what the buzz was on Jarrett a little bit earlier in the process when you're talking about going to a place and having several other guys there that play the same position. Tennessee took 3 quarterbacks last year, so that I found that to be interesting. But the interest in the balls is very legit. The interest in Rutgers is very legit, and then as what was been reported on Bucknuts over the last couple of days, he will return to Ohio State. There was certainly a time, and I know I've said this numerous times on the Bucknuts 1 and 5, where Ohio State, in my opinion, was the team to beat. So no question he likes the Buckeyes. So Jared Guarantano's recruitment could end up going a lot of ways, but the pulse out there is Tennessee right now, so we'll see what happens.
I want to talk about a few in-staters that are going to be down here this weekend. First, Demario McCall and then Luke Farrell. What are your opinions on them? those are guys that I think a lot of people have penciled into the class, but at times you'll hear about their interest in other schools. What's your vibe?
Well, I would think Demario McCall, I have them both in the class, too. I think Demario McCall is more of a slam dunk than Luke Farrell, but I do think the Buckeyes will get both of them. Demario McCall is an absolute freaking stud. I mean, we've only invited 2 running backs to the U.S. Army All-American Bowl. He's one of them. I mean, he is a touchdown waiting to happen when he touches the football. The junior film is outstanding. If you haven't watched the junior film of Demario McCall, turn that bad boy on in the office. It's about 6 or 7 minutes of just touchdown after touchdown. The kid is absolutely very exciting with the ball in his hand. He ran, I believe he ran the fastest 40 time of any camper at Ohio State this summer. He certainly ran one of the fastest ones. Austin Mack being another one that posted an outstanding 40 time and earned his offer during the summer. But Demario McCall coming back to Ohio State based on the Bucknuts visit board here that Bill and Alex do such a great job of keeping together. And, Demario talks about wanting to see other schools and taking other visits, but no question in my mind, Ohio State going to be very tough to beat. Tight end is one of the very few positions of need for Ohio State. When you're talking about how stacked that roster is with blue chipper everywhere, tight end is the one spot where they are struggling for bodies. So you got Jake Hoffman committed. Love to add Luke Farrell to that. There's definitely debate when you talk to college coaches and sources in the area or in the state of who is the better tight end. Hoffman's obviously the consensusly more higher-ranked guy, but there are folks out there in decision-making roles that like Luke Farrell better than Jake Hoffman. And Luke Farrell is an absolute great player, too. So he's a guy that Ohio State doesn't want to miss on and see go to a Big Ten rival like a Michigan State, or Penn State.
Steve, obviously the only way to deal with that is to get them both, which I do think Ohio State will do. I think I also owe you an apology now getting on to the NCAA tournament. I laughed out loud last week when you told everyone to take UCLA, and you obviously knew something that everyone else didn't. What is your Vegas-style back-to-back winner for this weekend then?
Well, I also took Wyoming, and they laid an egg.
Hello.
They played a terrible first half. I do think Wyoming was a good sleeper pick, but they let me down. But the Bruins, they got a lot of NBA talent. I really thought the Pac-12 was a great league. I stay up late. I like listening to Bill Walton. I think Bill Walton's hilarious. If you take him for what he is, you just sit back and enjoy the show. It's awesome. So I watched a lot of Pac-12 round leather, and I thought that there were some really good teams, and I thought UCLA played a tough schedule, and they deserved to get in. Now, obviously, people are like, hey, they needed some help to beat SMU. They certainly did, but they were also beating SMU down for 30 minutes, too, in that game, and so, I just think, and I think SMU was a good team. So, in the Sweet 16, I mean, I still, off the top of my head, I think Kentucky's still going to win the title. How about Michigan State and the way they're playing right now? They're playing well. I don't have the bracket in front of me, so I don't really, and I haven't looked at my own bracket in a while, although I think I was winning my thing, but my available points was a lot lower than other people, so I think I'm about to be screwed in these final 2 rounds.
Well, I'm the worst at brackets, so there's nothing wrong with that. All right, Steve, I appreciate you joining us. Obviously, this will be a huge recruiting weekend, so keep it locked to Bucknuts as Steve, Bill Kurlick, and Alex Gleitman bring you all the latest from the Columbus visit. Steve, have a great day.
Thanks for having me.